Hello, everyone. Welcome to tonight's Biggest Loser Live. Tonight, I have with me Anna from season 10. If you're new here, my name is Adrian. I was on season 3 of The Biggest Loser, and this is a series where we're just chit-chatting about the good old days or the not so good old days, about what it was like to be on The Biggest Loser. Sorry, I have a hard time sitting still. So thank you guys for being here tonight. We're going to go into Anna's journey, what it was like, what it's been like since then, because I think that's what it's been like since then has been a pretty interesting thing for so many of us. Tonight's episode is brought to you by radicallyhealthy.com. There's a free community where people can get together and combine lifestyle changes with things like a GLP-1 to get to their weight loss goals. And we also have a private community. It's a great little website. So head on over there and check us out. All right. Anna, do you want to tell us who you are, a little bit about your journey, and we'll if you miss anything, I'll ask you some questions.
Okay. Well, as you can see, I am Anna Wright, right across that screen, from season 10. I tried out for The Biggest Loser, like, oh my goodness, I want to say like 5 times. And it just didn't work. My son had died of cancer, and I just got like really, really big within like a 7-month period. And I was kind of stuck in that life for a decade. I would say you might as well just say a decade. So I had people that were suggesting within that 10 years, they were like, it's a show called The Biggest Loser. And I'm like, I know, I watch it, but had no interest in trying to go on it. And everybody was trying. I had like a friend from Cleveland that very first introduced me to it. And I was like, oh, okay. And then I had somebody else from Atlanta. But when I moved to Atlanta, it was just a lot. I even tried to send it in by tape. It was all these different times. And then finally I just gave up and was like, because I would get really far. I would, of course, it got to the point where I was like, okay, I know I'm going to get a call back, so I'm not worried about it. And I would get all the way to that point, and then it would just fall off and I wouldn't hear anymore. So I had given all the way up. And then a friend from my job was like, just come and do it this one more time. And I was like, nah, I just don't want to. And just when I was just like, whatever, I was like, I know I'm going to get called. And I got called. And actually, I made it all the way through. And I was like, what? I didn't even know what the next step was about. I was like, oh my God, I made it. And so, that was it. Got on the show. And it was not what I thought it was going to be. It was like a 50-50 of what I thought it was going to be like. It was, it was excitement of being on the show, having an opportunity to try to get my life back and get, physically, psychologically, everything. And the other 50 was BS. I was like, this is garbage. This is not what I was sitting in my bed with my legs crossed, eating a fillet of fish and fries and orange drink, all this, watching this show all the time, and thought it was like, it just wasn't.
So you probably know the audition process more than anyone. You auditioned 6 times?
It was like 5 or 6 times, yeah.
Wow. And you got a call back all of those times?
Every single time. Every single time I got a call back, and it was sending in the pictures and filling out the papers and doing all that. It was just like wait, hurry up and wait. And I was like, okay, till it just, excited at first. And then it just, starts to decline. You just get over it, And I
cannot imagine waiting literally years. Because I waited like 6 months. I feel like that's how long it was. I don't know if I'm pretty sure it was like 6 months. Maybe it was 4 months. But I can't imagine. Did in any of those other attempts you would send in the pictures, did they ever fly you out?
No, the fly out was that next step when you get to like finals week. I guess that's what they call it. And so that was it for me. When I got the call, and I got the call a day before they said I would get the call, I guess for excitement or whatever. I don't know. I should have known then it was a bunch of game from that point. I was like, because I was like told that I was going to get called like you'll hear about it from us by Wednesday. And then they called on a Tuesday. It totally caught me off guard. And I was like, what? So, yeah.
Wow. And so when I look into your record, are you a singer?
Mm-hmm. Yep. I'm a
And
singer. I'm a singer, songwriter, and I act. I'm a working actress right now and screenwriter. So a script writer, screenwriter. So, yeah.
Wow. So did you have any connections, or it was just your story was so powerful that every single time it hit?
Every single time it hit. I mean, I lost a kid. It was, what can I say? Like, no, I didn't have any connections. I wish I had, because I wouldn't have been going through all, but it was like crazy because the casting director, I just deleted a draft message I had for her too, for something else. I want to say her name was Allison. I think it was Allison. She was like the head casting director or something at the time. But she was like, how did we not call you back? Like, why all this time? I was like, I don't know. I can't answer that question for you. You have to answer that. But every season had, well, I don't know. I can't go back too far. I just know from season, I think 8. But usually every season had like a story that was like their story that really hits people, at home a different kind of way, So it's like, I just remember I didn't get picked for one of the times I had tried out in North Carolina. And I thought for sure I would get that one. I flew to North Carolina, and I was like, oh, okay. And I got the call back again, spent the night at some friends that I knew there, because I knew I had to be there for the callback, and still didn't get picked. But that year, Abby got picked. And that was, Abby's story. She lost her husband and her 2 kids. So that was, I was like, well, I'm sure that's why I didn't get picked,
Yeah, that was that. Yeah, but it looks like, you also lost your father as well. So you have had a lot of loss.
Yeah, how you know that? You definitely was that?
I got excited when you signed up, and I had to go look into it, and I'm really grateful that you signed up to come on. I know the audience was really looking forward to meeting you last week, and I'm sorry, everybody, that we postponed. I was just really tired. So thank you, Anna, too, for being so flexible. Okay, so it sounds like once you got on the show, we kind of had a similar journey. Did you, by the way, did you apply for season 3?
I'm sure I did. I'm not kidding. You see that 10? I might have tried out 10. No, I think I skipped a few. I was gonna say I might have tried out 10 times, but no, seriously, 5 or 6 times. So it was like I, watched the show for the first 2 seasons, and then I was asked, come on, let's try out for the show. So yeah, season 3, I believe we did. That's when I was still in Cleveland.
Okay, because my best friend from the show was Georgia. Her name is Angie. And to this day, I love Angie. That reminds me, Angie, if you're watching, I'm sorry I didn't respond to your text yet. I miss you and I love you too. Angie and I have matching tattoos from the show. And I bet you weren't a good fit for our show because they sent so many people home, and they probably would have wanted you to be part of the set cast that was there. But you actually did get sent home. But before we go into that, so you get there and we get poked and prodded and tested. And were you expecting that?
I was. I did. Because I mean, this is okay, first of all, what are my parameters? Like, can we, if I had
this is not made for children.
I'm like, if a curse word come out, are we good?
We're good.
All right. And what about my wine? Because remember I told you.
Oh, this is a drinking game. Every time you say The Biggest Loser, take a drink. Hope you guys got your wine and your electrolytes out there, because this is about to get fun.
Just kidding. I'll put it in a glass. I was like, I told her I was going to have my wine. I got my wine. Okay. I'm sorry.
After the show, I struggled with alcoholism, so I don't drink. But I think people who are good at it should do it.
And I'm not.
I'm not good at it. I ended up with a DUI. Not good. It's better if Adrian doesn't drink. So I stick to my electrolytes. If I get wild, I'll have a Diet Mountain Dew, but that's me getting jiggy with it.
I don't even drink. That's the crazy thing. I got a whole wine cooler, don't drink. And everybody who knows me knows, my light. They know I don't drink, right? So I got this wine club thing, and I was like, I'm cracking open a bottle. I'm going to need it tonight.
Yeah, because we just had someone from your season on, Brendan, and you saw the episode. And so we'll go into your thoughts on that episode. But so we get there, we get poked, we get prodded, and they send you home right away? Or what happened? Who was your trainer?
Jillian was my trainer. But can I adjust this light real quick?
Absolutely.
It fell down.
Yeah, I do this every day, so my lighting is all set.
And it is beautiful. Oh, they got a whole.
My editor has been complaining about my lighting, so I had to change it from like, I like it nice and bright like this, and he's like, you look blue. So we fixed it.
And I got to put on readers. I'm over 40, y'all. When it happens, 40, they don't play. You need them readers.
I need to put on my blue blockers. We're gonna party real hard. I don't know what I did with them. Okay. Anywho. Okay. So what happened?
So what you saying? When I got poked and prodded?
You got poked, you get prodded, you finally get there. It's not the mansion I got to be on. Was the accommodations okay? Were they okay, or were they?
Yes, honey. We were at the Four Seasons. It was beautiful, delightful. I was like, oh my God, it was all up in the mountains. And was it in Calabasas? It wasn't too far, but it was so nice. It was beautiful. So you didn't really get to enjoy it though, because you were going through, meeting the network at that point. And, they were asking people, would you vote for this person to be on the show? Would you want, after we talked and was in this lineup. It's crazy. And that big old contract, I know I had saw you were talking about this big old contract you can't read over. It was so crazy because I was calling, by me being in the music business, I was calling my friend who's a lawyer. He's an entertainment lawyer. And I was like, and shout out to James McMillan. What's up, James? I got to give my shout outs. And I'm going to tell you why I'm going to give my shout outs too. That's something else we'll talk about later. But I was calling him like, James, should I sign this? I don't know what this means and what should I do? And it's so big. And he was like, Anna, that's too much. And I can't get through it in enough time. And they're like, they're going to make me sign it. And my hair was curly, and I had pressed my hair out, and they wanted me to wet my hair and so it could curl back up and change it. It was a lot going on. I was like, what? Why I gotta change my hair back? What? Okay, TV. I'm in music at that time, so Did
the contract collide with the music you were doing? Like, did you have to withhold any projects you were working on? No. Well, that was nice.
I actually had a single on the radio. I don't know if you know the group Drew Hill. No, let's go. No, Drew Hill. No, it's okay. Don't worry about it.
Drew Hill.
DRU space HILL. So I had a single out on the radio at that time, and that was like the last bit of music that I kind of, I had did for a while. I kind of left it alone coming off the show. So that was kind of cool, but that's a whole nother story too, but keep going.
So you get there and you had Jillian. Jillian said that everybody, like 40% of her contestants have all kept their weight off and everything was great because she gave them all the therapy and stuff like that. So I'm just wondering if that's what you're feeling.
About Jillian? Oh, wait. So we're pivoting to Jillian because are you asking me about being on the ranch or still going through the process to get on the ranch?
Let's keep going through the process. I'm very ADHD, so it's like squirrel.
Don't worry about it.
So thank you for keeping me on track.
That's
so
okay.
we got through the audition. We've got through the poking. Did you get to know Dr. H at all? Did you get any feels for him?
Just for the poking. It was fine. I mean, it was Dr. H. It was like, you're watching the show as a fan and you're sitting there praying that one day you can get on the show. So when you meet these people, it's like, oh my God, I'm really here. And this is really the person. And oh my goodness, they're going to help me. So, that was pretty much it. You got to meet Dr. H. We did the whole full body workup. You talk to the network and then you go home. And do you know, when I went home, I felt like it was an omen. Because when I was on my way home, guess who was at the airport on my flight? You gonna take
one of the trainers?
Richard Simmons.
What?
Yes, we took a picture.
What?
We took a picture.
Wow.
Like, oh, Richard Simmons. I was excited because I was like, you know, was a weight loss guru, man, and everything. And it was like, it's meant for me to be on the show. They're gonna call me.
Wow. So they had you fly out, but then go home.
Yeah.
Wow. Once we were there, we were there.
Well, we were at the Four Seasons to get the workup and go through it. I guess, you know, the show evolved. You know, you were season 3, so I guess they changed it up and, you know, how they went about it or whatnot. Or it was just different for us. I don't know. I never really talked to anybody else about how their process went before they were told they were going to be on the show.
I'm going to guess ours was shorter. I mean, it was a few days. And I think we maybe were in a hotel for 5 days before we started filming, but I don't even know if it was that. I couldn't remember. And I need to, if any of you out there on season 3, get your butts on this show and tell a little bit more, because I got a little perimenopause dementia going on here and I don't remember everything. But ours felt pretty short, and then the filming started. Yeah. When you got to set, were you like, wow, well, no, you've already been singing, you've already been performing, so like Hollywood maybe wasn't that big of a thing to you?
No, Hollywood was, because singing and being in the recording studio or working with artists like that, it's not the same as stage and, you know, you know, Hollywood. It's not the same. So it was all brand new, you know, for me. So, but this process, I don't know, it was just the whole process for me was crazy weird. I was in Atlanta and I was one of the marked places that they were doing the challenge to see who was going to get on the show. And they had put me, I was with Rick and what was our winner's name? Patrick. So I had to run a mile. So they had, for my season, it was like you either ran a mile or did this step challenge. So it was one or the other. Mine was run a mile. And, you know, I will say this, they had really good producers for the show. See, I'm in Hollywood now, baby, and I know how this works. So I know about production and producing a show and, you know, and doing all that. So, you know, they have really good producers, I'll tell you that much. They knew how to pivot. They were ready, you know, that if it goes this way, if this person wins, what's next, how we're going to do this. Yeah, they were good.
As you got there, was there anything that was just shocking to you that you were not expecting at all?
As far, you mean what, to the ranch? Because you got to remember, I wasn't at the ranch right away. It was almost a month or about a month that I was gone. Everybody else had Bob and Jillian, and we were in Utah at Fitness Ridge.
Okay, so on your season, this is what I was seeing, was that you were sent home right away.
Right. So if you lost the challenge, so what they did was they had it was 5 of us. So if it was 5 of us, and then they took 2, so they went to 14 places. So they went to 14 cities. So 14, I don't know, 14 times 3 or whatever. I guess I'm doing too many. 7. They went to 7 places. 7 times 3. So it was 21 contestants. Gosh, with the math. And so it was like 21 contestants. So they were going to narrow it down. It was supposed to be where 7 lost, you know, and then they kept the other 14. So that's what it was supposed to be. But what they did was, the producers, they made it seem like Bob had a favorite out of the 7, or Jillian had a favorite out of the 7. And that's how Aaron and Elizabeth got pulled away from our 7 and took on the ranch. So they had 16 people on the ranch, and then us 5, we just lost. So when I lost that day against the 2 of them, which was a trip of a day, literal and figuratively, because somebody tripped me in that race. And I'm like, I'm a girl. And you got to stoop that low, but I'm going to skip all that.
Anyway, was it Brendan?
No. Remember I told you I was with Rick and Patrick.
Rick and Patrick. Okay.
So anyway.
They literally tripped a girl?
Anyway, who wasn't running it?
You have auditioned 5, 6 times. You finally make it. You have to do this BS challenge, and then they send you home.
Yeah. But Jillian was telling me when I lost, because I like hyperventilate, I got like so hot. My temperature got so hot that Dr. H was like, done. She's done. She's done. She's done. And that was going to be it anyway. Because I was literally, it's so funny because I was like, I'm going to die. And everybody makes fun of me still, even because I was like, I'm going to die. I literally felt like I was going to die. And I just, my son watching me fail. Oh my God. My son was watching me fail. And that was it, baby. You wanted a catalyst? You had one. That was it. So I was like, my son will not watch me fail. My son will. He watched me fail, but I was like, oh no, it's not going to happen. I will not fail. Not for my son. It's not happening. And so that was it.
You're a kid to me. When they sent me home too, it was like, watch out.
Yeah. Okay, yeah. You got me twisted. I'm going to throw some ebonics and all that up in there and slang. But I'm like, no, you got me twisted. My son not going to see me fail because he's going to know that no, he just watched his mother. I'm very competitive in everything, but I was dealing with, on a psychological level, I was dealing with being that competitive person was over here on this right, but this left side was this woman who had lost her son. And I had this like compassion for the world because I was so grateful to God that he was able to get me through all that and everything that I was going through, that it was a lot of people that was effing me over. They were taking advantage of my generosity, my, kindness, gratitude, everything. It was all taken advantage of. So I was doing this dual situation, where I am this competitive person, baby, and I'm gonna get what I want. I got tenacity. I will cut your ass off. Don't worry about it. I'm going for me and my, and then this other person. So it was like this dual thing going on. I was like, oh my God. So anywho, I lost. Jillian kept telling me when I lost, she was like, it's not over yet. It's not over yet. I was like, yes, it is. What you mean it's not over yet? It's over. It's done. I'm going back to work. I don't have time for this. Y'all done got my whole everything up. I'm excited thinking I made it on the show, went through all the rigmarole, all this crap, and then I lose like this. No, I can't run no mile right now. Get the hell out of here. This is not what I could do. And at least mentally, I thought I couldn't do it. I was defeating myself automatically. And so I was like, I'm out. I'm going back to work. I'm not doing this. And then I got a call. Hey, we can help you lose some weight, get you jump started. I was like, I'm good. I was like, I'm good. I don't have it made like probably a lot of people, had to support. I'm a single Black mother with a son in college. I got to go to work and I don't have time for the games. So I'm good. And they were like, no, I promise you. And they didn't throw no contract situation or nothing at me. I just was like, I'm going back to work. And, they kind of sweetened it up a little bit where it was like, okay, well, what do you make a week and all that kind of stuff. And so I was like, all right, I'll go out to this ranch. I mean, not the ranch, but the Utah place. So I went out there and just, did my thing. Had to come home for 2 weeks. We didn't know what was going on. We used to all talk, the 5 of us. We would talk like, do they have something planned? I wonder if they got something planned, or are they serious? Are we just here to, get a jump start, or, we didn't know what. I'll just say that.
So they then bring you to the Utah ranch. No, they don't. How did you end up back on the show?
Okay, so we went home. So we were at Utah for what was supposed to be 1 week, turned into 2 weeks, and then we went home. So I guess they weren't ready for us yet, or however. So we were home, and I was crying. So we was calling each other like, oh, to do, because oh God, what was you said her name, and she would kill me for not even remembering her name. Who was our dietitian?
Cheryl.
So Cheryl came out. She took us to the store. We at the store. I think it was a Whole Foods or something. And she showed us about shopping and taught us. And it was a lot of good information. So we did that. And then we had to go home for them 2 weeks. And it was like, I stood in the middle of the store at Whole Foods and I was crying because I was like, I still don't know what to do. What am I supposed to do? How am I supposed to eat or cook? Or it was just a lot. And so they just had us in a wait situation. We didn't know what was going on. Like I said, it was just like we thought we were going back to work, but they were like, no, don't go back to work yet. We like, why? What are what y'all doing? And so I would just go. I wasn't working. I would go work out. I called and I got to get 2 more shout outs. So he's now a doctor, Dr. Calvin Cole. He used to be my trainer at LA Fitness. And he was like, and I was, just not doing what I was supposed to do long before The Biggest Loser. But he came back and he was like, I don't know what changed. But he was at that challenge too. He was there to support me too. But he was there training me for them 2 weeks. And I don't know. I just got right to the point where we got a phone call saying, hey, you guys didn't get to see the ranch. And we thought that wasn't fair. So, why don't you just come on out and take a look at the ranch? And so we were like, oh, okay. So all of us called each other, hey, what y'all doing? We getting ready to go to the ranch. So we went to the ranch and we're all sitting around. Next thing we know, we walking in casually, like thinking we going to meet the other contestants and Bob and Jillian, somebody. And we up there competing against them. And it was like we were like told out of the 5 of us, whoever lost the most weight wasn't going home. So it was like, oh, okay. And then when it faded into what they had going on for them for weight loss, like what they were doing for that month. Brendan was describing it better with talking about the line, and it's not like 1 or 2 people, it was like half the people. And so that was that.
Okay. So you 5 come back on, but you thought that the show was kind of over. Mm-hmm. And they used your weight loss from while you were gone, even though you were just kind of
never had worked with a trainer. Mm-hmm.
And so you lost more weight than the other people at home?
I lost more weight than people on the ranch.
Ha! We have so much in common.
I lost more people than on the ranch. I was in the top. I wasn't in the bottom 5. I was up in the top 5. Yeah.
Wow. So you re-enter. Did anybody else re-enter? Wow.
Because it was like who lost the most out of us 5. So I beat them out and I beat people out on the ranch.
So did they like you? Because when I re-entered the ranch having beat everyone, they did not like me. And they were like, as soon as we can get rid of that thing, we are going to get rid of that thing. She doesn't belong here. We don't like her. My famous thing is stomping my foot and saying, I want to go home.
That was yours?
They make a commercial of you too?
That was your thing. I'm going to go look for it now. I want to go home.
Thank God. Praise the Lord. I think it's before season 6 is pretty much gone. And I've looked for this commercial. I have PTSD memory of this commercial because it played over and over and over and over again of me stomping my foot like a child and saying, I want to go home. This isn't fair. Because it wasn't fair. It wasn't fair to you either. They played the same BS with you that they did with me.
Mine wasn't fair. But when people ask me about The Biggest Loser, I always tell them the worst part of Biggest Loser was the contestants. It wasn't the producers. It wasn't the shows, the challenges. It wasn't that. It was the contestants. And like I moved on, with life in general. But it actually, I'm a realist too. I'm not gonna BS. And it put a hole in my heart. For them people on there, I was real pissed off, like for real, because they just want some good people, and I don't give a damn. And I don't care if it was temporary. I don't care if you want to say you were young at the time, and I don't give a damn. You were grown. You was over 21. You knew how to sign them papers, and it spoke to whether you was old, young, whatever. It spoke to the integrity, the morals, and the ethics of those people, those contestants. And for the majority, it was a piece of shit. And I'm just being honest. I don't care. I don't give a damn. Ain't none of them really even call me and say nothing to me. Yeah. They don't call me, hey, Anna, how you doing? So I don't care. Let me tell you how shitty they were. We're going to talk about this. Because this did cause me some form of PTSD. Like a lot of people ask me, and they'll ask me probably forever. and I have to deal with it. You just navigate through life, knowing you got screwed over and whatever. But last week, well, a couple weeks ago, when you had Brendan and stuff over there, and he didn't want to say, like when you were talking about people going home and did anybody have a problem with it or whatever, and how they asked the people, did they have a problem with this one person going home because their kid was sick? Well, I don't care. I'm going to say what I don't even know who the person was. I heard that the person was Patrick, and I assume that it was Patrick because I was told that Patrick's kid was sick. So duh, it had to be him or whatever. Okay. Or was going through whatever. And if it wasn't, okay, whatever. I didn't know, but they did tell me his son was sick. So you talking to a woman whose son died of cancer. So immediately I'm feeling some kind of way for him to help him. Though, even though I was in that shitty challenge with, him and Rick, I still, it kind of felt like, okay, we still are the green team, and stick together some kind of way. Even though I hadn't been there with you all for the month, when I made it over, I just thought that they would be like, hell yeah, Ella, do you hear this? We did all three, this, we made it. And it just was not like that. I had a choice to give up immunity, and I didn't come to The Biggest Loser for the game. It is a game show, and I get that, and I know that. I'm not stupid, whatever. Like the Survivor, and y'all was talking about Survivor and Big Brother and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, cool. But it's still, even though it's a reality show, and even though it's a game show, it still is a reality show and a game show full of people who are fat, obese, and that is a mental disability. That's something, we got something wrong with us, whatever. We're here on this show because we want somebody to help save us in some capacity or another. So yeah, the money and all that kind of stuff, woo, got it. But the core of it is about us being unhealthy to a point that we may die, and we needed somebody to throw us a damn lifeline. Okay, so all that other stuff didn't mean all that. I don't want to hear all that other bull crap. I came onto that show because my son had died, and I was sunk, and I had another son who not only lost his brother, but he lost me in a sense that I was such, that little bit of disconnect. And I wanted to see, I'm about to get mad now. See, this is where the PTSD or whatever kicks in about it. Cause it's like, it's just real shitty that to be there and to do what I did, and for them to conspire to kick me off for the sake of some damn money and notoriety. It was shitty. You weak. All of y'all, whoever was involved in that is just weak. You're a weak ass person, and it did not speak very good to who you were as a person. It just didn't. So I went on there and I was like, look, they threw me. When Allison told me my challenge, I was so pissed off. So it was like, even though I had made it on there, I was supposed to be the person to set everybody in the black and blue. And I was like, I don't know these people. And they were like, well, you got a certain amount of time to sit down with everybody and talk to them, to get to know them, son, to make a decision. Now, on the real, I told you I'm competitive and I don't play. And if I wanted to win, and if it was about that, I would have just went in like that. I showed everybody my true colors and was very vulnerable from the beginning. I said, listen, I'm not here to play no games. I need to save my life. This is not a joke. I don't care about this money and all of that. Now I'll compete. Let's go. Let's get with it, because I'm not scared of nobody. But I'm here trying to give everybody what they wanted. And so the only person I think I did not accommodate was Rick. I think Rick wanted to go over to Bob, but I wanted Rick to stay with me. I kind of had that thing where it was like, oh, it's going to be me, Rick, and Patrick. And then the rest of the people that's going to be on the black team with us is, whatever, give people what they wanted. But, and I'm sorry to Rick for that. I wish I had to let him go head on over there, because they said he was the sacrificial person. He was the one sacrificed when I first got there. And, but anyhow, I gave everybody what they wanted. Those that wanted to go with Bob, I gave it to them. I didn't have to do that. You know what I'm saying? I could have gameplay, and you wanted Bob. Oh, you wanted Jillian. I could have made the enemies. I could have did all that. But even the producers suck because they could have just let me have that. Let me, be, you know what I'm saying? I know you want ratings. You got enough with the rest of them. They had the whole Bad Boys with Brennan and Fredo. They could have did all that crap they wanted to do with everybody else, but they could have let me have mine. You use my story to be compelling to the world, because it wasn't just here in the US, it was all over. You had my damn story. I gave you rights to my story. I bared myself, my soul, and everything to you. Y'all could have let me have that, and they didn't. You know what I'm saying? They used it and twisted and did all their little producing for their ratings and all that kind of stuff. So anyway, okay, if you want me to stop, I can stop anytime. So take a break or whatever. But I gave
No, please keep going.
Yeah,
I mean, I think it was Brendan that said, was it Brendan that said that people were actually ruder behind the scenes than they were on the camera? Did he say that?
I don't know, because he was like saying he was cool, whatever, and everything was cool or what.
No, maybe that was Sione who said that.
It might have been.
One of those two said that their cast was actually way ruder, and
no, it wasn't him,
and it didn't make TV.
No, but he
and everybody was nice for the cameras, but in real life, it was like
it was crazy. But anyhow, as fast as I got there, they was ready to get rid of me.
So good. After this, season 10 is going to be, now I'm like, I should have watched it. But the reason I don't go watch all the seasons, because it brings up a lot of feelings every single time I watch it. I don't know if you've watched any seasons, but it's tough to watch.
Yeah.
And then B, I'm having people from all kinds of seasons, so I would just have to make it a full-time job to watch all the seasons, then remember everything. And so I've got a favorite super fan. I haven't seen him comment yet tonight, but he usually gives me all the good details when I have questions about the previous seasons.
Okay.
Anyway, okay, so you were really nice, and I went there with my heart on my sleeve too, and they ate me up like piranhas, and they showed it on TV. At least they showed like how mean they were. They literally moved beds and were mean to my face. Wow. And I was like, and I went on the show thinking that I was unlovable, I was unlikable, I was unworthy because I've been big my whole life. And so to have people openly in my face going, we don't like you. Like, you are yuck.
Oh,
to just be told I'm yuck to my face. And I was young too. I was only 21. Yeah.
Yeah, you don't tell nobody that. But that's what I said. It's so much. Yeah, that's messed up. But ain't nobody yuck me. Because you could, and we can, don't get it twisted. I still was me, but it's just, I just had a heart because I knew we were all there. The common thing that we had was the fact that we were obese people and we needed a lifeline, so that was what we had. The one thing that we did have in common. But when I saw, now again, I gave away my immunity. I said, well, I want Jillian anyway. So yeah, I gave it away. I gave it to Patrick, because they told me that his son was sick. And I was like, you know what? That's a lot to deal with. That's a lot. And I lost my child and I lost my baby boy. And I'm like, baby, I want you to be able to have that. I want you to have that. Now I'm up here being all nice. And then to turn around and see the season and see him and Brendan in their bedroom talking about how stupid I was. That was dumb. I wouldn't have never did. Like, dummy, I gave you immunity so you could get yourself together from going with your son's situation, and you call me stupid? Oh, okay, I got your stupid. Man, I wish I had have known that. I would have already given it away, but I wish I had have known it going forward. Oh, shit. I would have been like, the hell with y'all. It's every man for himself. The hell with y'all. And then they sent us away. So we get through whatever, they gave whatever reasons they gave, how they were going to do whatever strategically. I know about the throwing away. I didn't know about the throwing away is that I was green about that. I knew they were doing something, but as far as gameplay and that water drinking before we go weigh in, I didn't know about that until I got there. I was like, oh, this how y'all do that? Oh, wow. This is crazy.
Wait, what did they do? I missed it.
The drinking the water before we go weigh in the morning. Mm-hmm. I'm like, that's crazy. I didn't know about that. I didn't know about that until I got there. I found out
So
until I got when I
how
got.
many were you literally gone for a month, or were you gone for a month on TV?
No, I was gone for a month.
Okay. So
Yeah.
in real life, did that end up being 4 episodes or was it less?
No, it ended up being 4 episodes.
Wow. So when you got there, were the weeks kind of actually a week? Because ours were like 2-3 weeks.
I think we had that twice. I want to say we had that twice somewhere in there but it came in like the mid of it, the season. It wasn't like something that was done in the beginning because it was literally a month that I got there. And it was around the 4th of July when I got there. Cause I remember we got to go to someplace, the van, they took us somewhere and everybody was celebrating fireworks and all that kind of stuff.
So this is going to piss people off, but I got to ask. So you said like, listen, guys, I'm so done with this. Like just the auditioning is traumatizing. Then they finally pick you and they send you home. Like trauma, done with it. This is so dumb. And they said, hey, how about a little money? Did they end up paying you that the whole time you were gone?
You mean the whole month?
Whatever, you know how you were like, I'm not coming back. I got to work. I've got a kid in college. I've got other stuff going on. I'm done with your games. And they were like, well, how much would it take?
Well, they just gave me the regular stipend that they would give the people that were on the show playing, you know. So I
Do
don't
you
know.
remember how much that was? I want to say ours was like $500 a week or something.
I don't even remember. I'm not even about to lie to you. That part I don't remember. I got the paperwork.
As a kid, I was like, yes.
I got receipts though, but it was like,
person who had a career, they were taking a loss. Like it was not a substantial, to me, it was a substantial amount of money, but to a lot of people.
yeah, it wasn't. I mean, even what they gave me still wasn't all like that. But yeah, you had to sign an NDA and all that stuff. So,
oh, I'll tell you about that after.
Right.
Why I say things that at first when I started talking, I actually had like after my first interview, I had like a panic attack of like, oh my gosh, are they going to sue me for $1 million? And then I contacted some people and anyway, how did people keep their jobs? So I was a college kid. I didn't have a job. I personally left college mid-semester. I spoke to each professor and I said, hey, I'm going to go do this reality TV thing. So can we work something out? And half the teachers were like, we can. And half the teachers were like, we can't. Like, you got to be here for the lab. So we're going to have you redo this. That kind of screwed over the whole thing did end up screwing over my GPA because of the situation. I did end up coming back and graduating, and that was fine. But, my waitressing job didn't care. How was your work? What were you doing? Were you singing? And is it more like contract work, or how does that work? How did it work for you? Were they fine with you leaving?
No, at that time, I was actually working at a law firm. I was like doing paralegal work at a law firm. And there were some people that was in HR that was trying not to let me go. But another HR person stepped in and was like, no, she can go. So I had to do the whole FMLA thing, so I can get off because it was necessary, So I just did that and I left. And my job was supportive. I mean, they were cool. They were, even when I got back, they were like, whoa. It was like, because I just kept it up. I kept it up because at that time I had the fan monkey on my back. You know what I'm saying? It's like you got all these people looking at you, and out of millions of people that watch this show, whatever fraction of it was, they could, relate to me, and they were looking at me to see what I was going to do. And then whatever haters were out there, they were looking to see what you were going to do. So I just had it on me. It was accountability. And I was like, keep going, girl, keep going. And this is what's even crazy is that when I was eliminated 3 weeks later, my mother was diagnosed with breast cancer. So I had to leave work, had just gotten back and left to come to Cleveland back home to take care of my mom, to go with her for a moment. She had to have her surgery and then be with her for a minute. And then I was still I didn't know about breast cancer and all the things that women go through with the healing process with chemo and all that stuff. And she was like, no, you go. But I had to work out and stuff when I was with her and dealing with that and maintaining. And I was like, oh, wow. And I was able to do it. I was on a mission and I was able to do it. But it was like, wow. And she was like, no, baby, you go. And I don't, just keep going. And I'm like, okay. But had I known, I would have stayed with my mother. I would have stayed here with my mother and just kept going with her, in her situation. But
Wow.
yeah,
Your story is so unbelievably powerful. So you had everything against you. You had the cast against you. I'm not saying the producers were against you, but it does seem like it was very slooped against you. With the line being so high, that means like pretty much everyone was able to be voted out every week.
it was like that. It's that part
So it was a popularity contest, and it wasn't who could work the hardest, who wanted to be here the best, who needed to be there. It was a popularity contest.
Yes. Because I'm going to tell you, they shipped us out to that Camp Pendleton, the Marine camp, and that was disaster. That was a disaster for me. I was swollen. I have lymphedema, lipedema really bad. When I gained the first weight that I had gained, the very initial first, when I gained from my son dying, it threw my body into a spiral. And now I already had like really muscle toned legs and everything like that, but I had water retention like it was nobody's business. And they diagnosed it. Actually, Jillian is the one who brought it to Dr. H's attention. She was like, look at her legs. She's swollen. She like full of water. And they got me compression socks from that point. And it was like, it was a relief. I couldn't take a water pill. I'm about to sidebar on that one. I couldn't take a water pill full of water retention from an actual diagnosis of lymphedema, lipedema. I can't have this water pill because, oh my God, that's an advantage. Are you effing kidding me? Let me tell you something about that advantage. What America does not know is that a lot, and when I say a lot, I don't know the exact percentage, but I'm going with 50%. And I don't know about anybody else's season, but 50% of my dang on season, people had already had gastric bypass, lap bands, partial. Are you serious? I can't have a water pill, but they could have already had some form of weight loss surgery that when what they give us starts kicking in, that's an advantage. Is that not? When you start eating right and you start working out, the surgery that you had starts to work again. That's an advantage, but I can't have a water pill. I got to stay bloated up and full of water. It feels like bricks trying to lift my legs. And that's where I was at when we went to the Marine Corps. Because I had started working out and everything with Jillian. And then I think a week or two later, no Bob, no Jillian, out there doing Marine workouts, eating food with lots of salt in it because they sweat so much that they have to have sauce. We got salty food, hadn't really gotten eating down, and you're doing your meals to turn anything away. You don't know in this unknown territory. And then they put us through this huge obstacle course. I'm 5'8.5". If you want to just round up, say 5'9", I'm a tall woman. I'm crawling through a net that's down to the ground, probably 3 feet off the ground, and running on sand, and got all this heavy clothes on and all this stuff. Crazy. And then they knew they were going to vote me out. My people, my team already conspiring. They knew they were going to get rid of me. They saved Elizabeth. No shade to Elizabeth. No shade. I mean,
this is so good.
I'm
sorry. Not your pain is good, but like you're describing things that other people really haven't dug into. It is so. I would love for you, and don't worry, Jessica, I got your questions starred and we will get to them, but I don't want to divert from the topic here. I want you to tell people, if you have a good description, if not, I can help. People have never heard of lymphedema or lipedema. And they will go and get gastric bypass. They will go get lap band. They will go get these surgeries. It won't do anything for this condition.
No.
And then to have this condition on The Biggest Loser, you could literally gain 20 to 30 pounds in a week with this condition. Yep. And so for them to not address it is pretty BS. Sorry. And I'm a big Dr. H fan, but I'm sure that his hands were tied on what they could help people with, but that's pretty BS.
Well, yeah. And Dr. H, listen, I'm a Dr. H fan too, because he came through for me in a situation. We'll get to that later. You
We
know,
will. Sure.
I heard you all talking about how he did something. He did something for me too, and he didn't have to. Real talk, he didn't have to. And I'm not against him or anything like that. But for him, the whole entire show was a study. You know, we were all the guinea pigs. You know, I have a black female that's 39-year-old black female, 5'8.5", and she has hypertension or high blood pressure and this, that, and the other. And it's all statistics and stuff for him, you know, however he uses it, whether it be in a book or whether it be to help some other people. But that's what we are, you know, that's what we were. So,
he's a scientist.
Yeah, I mean that's what we were. That's what, you know, that's how you were picked and cast. I need this. I need a white male or this and this factor with these issues, and you know, that's what it is. So, you know, but yeah, I mean, my legs literally felt like bricks, and nobody took it, you know, nobody. Yeah, she said feels like two toddlers sitting. Tell me about it. Tell me about it. And I pushed through it and I went through that obstacle. All right, Elizabeth. Yes. And I went through that whole obstacle training and went through all that. And I just needed a relief. I was like dying, right? So it's supposed to be you get kicked off if they catch you doing anything. So they didn't have anything for me to do, nothing for me to sit in to kind of give me any relief. My legs were in pain. And all this time, they're working how we gonna get rid of her? We gonna somebody go and drink this water and do this and do that. I'm like, really? This is why I say to hell with them and all that. All of them on the list, boom, 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 who was there. And that bull crap voting out of that session, that pissed me off. It pissed me off. You know, Elizabeth's, oh, I have an asthma attack. Oh, I'm having an asthma attack. And, you know, and I'm not saying it was real, fake, dramatized. I'm not like I said, no shade, but partial shade. Because I was working my ass off and they ain't never, not one day saw me sitting down watching movies. Because you can put your DVDs, VHSs or DVDs in there. And none of them, the time that I was there, ever saw me doing that. My ass is out there in the middle of the night with coyotes. I was born in Detroit. I was raised in Detroit and I was raised in Cleveland and I lived in Atlanta. We don't do coyotes. We don't see coyotes. We're going to keep it a buck. Whoever's watching your show now or later, let's keep it a buck. Just like when I went to U-Haul, we don't climb mountains. That's just not the norm, but I did it. But I was out there in that ranch with them coyotes staring me down and I'm sitting there looking like, okay, what the hell if I got to run? I don't know nothing about that habitat, or you know what I'm saying? That's just not my thing. But I wasn't watching movies and doing all that. My ass was working out. I didn't have a boo thing to boo up with to get my sex.
Wait. What do you mean boo thing to boo up with?
Well, you know, when Brennan was telling you folks was having sex and booed up with couples and all that, I couldn't get rid of calories having sex on the ranch. I didn't have a boo thing there with me.
You don't think orgasms are a big calorie? And did you have the body bug? I would like to know what the people's calories were on the body bug when they were bumping.
I had a body. I don't know. But I definitely had a body bug. But I'm just saying, I wasn't doing all of that. You know what I'm saying? I wasn't overdoing. I wasn't doing that. I was trying to do my part and I was trying to stay. And I think that people should have had that thought in mind. I understand, like I said, game show, blah, 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 get it. But under the circumstances, but why should I think that? You know, when I go back and I look at the show, like I said, they were sitting up there calling me dumb, stupid. We got to get rid of her. Ooh. I will say this, though. Let me say this before you go on. When we came back for finale, Brendan said that he did apologize. I don't know if he knew what he was apologizing for, but he was like the only person that was like, the only person I'm apologizing. I don't even know if he remembers this. But he was like, the only person I'm apologizing to was Anna. You know, like, I'm sorry, but I don't even know if he knew what he was sorry, but baby, the damage was done. It was done. It was a hole in there. I was dealing with PTSD. I was struggling and I needed you to be sorry and have some love for me then when I needed to be there. Not talk about me, not do all that, you know. That's not what I needed. What I needed was a community of people that understand the severity of the state of being that we were in, and to understand that I wasn't in there trying to look good in my damn jeans. I didn't want to lose weight to look good in my jeans. I didn't want to look good to be able to run around in the grass with my kids. My kid had already died. I was there because I was dying, and I needed mature people that understood that community and that was, going to do that. That's what I needed. And I didn't get that shit. I got fucked big time. So.
And it was a set, and it was a game. And if you talk to anybody who's been on like these reality shows, the game is 24/7. And this is supposed to be about our health, about being, you started about 330. Is that right?
Yeah, I was actually over 330, but they put it at 330. I was a little over 330. I probably started about 340.
Okay. That's interesting. And why didn't they use the other number?
I don't know.
You'd already beat everyone when you came back on. And so they didn't want to blow it out, or?
I guess.
I don't know. Okay, so anyway, so if people don't know what lymphedema is, you have this lymphatic system where fluid flows throughout your body. When there's clogs in the system or you have errors in the lymphatic system, liquid goes through, but it gets trapped. So it's often in the legs and the arms, but it could it be other places as well?
All up in the
arms and legs.
Right.
And once you look up what lymphedema is, you will see it everywhere. You will see it, and you'll have compassion, because you'll be like, you're not struggling with weight. You're struggling with inflammation. Now, lipedema is even more frustrating, I think, because with lymphedema, at least we can kind of get it down, although it can come on really fast. It can, you could be totally fine, drive a couple hours someplace, and whoof, be hit pretty hard. But lipedema is when the fat cells become almost dysfunctional. And I think both of these things can be kicked into because of a traumatic event. It's often a traumatic event. It could be a childbirth. It could be puberty. It could be menopause, but it could also be from trauma. And the fat cells become encapsulated in tissue, and they become hard nodules, and you start having, both of them cause a lot of pain. Am I explaining this well? So for people who don't know, if you have nodules in your legs or your arms, you gain water weight incredibly, freakishly fast, and you don't know why. It's worth looking into these two conditions. I don't know of a cure, but I do know that for some people, GLP-1 can help. I'm not saying it's a cure. I believe one day we'll have a cure. And I will forever keep my eyes out for what is the cure. But I know GLP-1 can help because A, it reduces inflammation, and then B, it helps reduce the other fat. It doesn't necessarily eviscerate the lipedema fat, but it does help the other fat, which helps you identify where the nodules are. And the only thing I've heard is to actually have liposuction to get rid of them. Have you heard anything else?
No, just with diet, just watching your diet, where you eat, that causes inflammation, and like you said, surgery. So
trauma.
It's generally genetic and hormonal triggered. Well, mine was hormonally triggered. So, because I was going through the stress of losing my son. So it wasn't about what I was eating or anything like that, or not eating. It was my body was producing cortisol. So it was like going haywire. Because when I found out my son was going to die, they told me he had 2 to 8 weeks to live. But we went through a process of radiation and things that it was just it was inevitable. Only God could turn it around. But it was inevitable. And it was like the 7 months that he lived was to give us some time to be able to, say goodbye. So that's what that was for. So, but yeah, I gained so much weight. I didn't even realize I had gained so much weight. Sorry, I'm opening up my pretzels. I got like this bootleg charcuterie over here.
You're good. Enjoy. I ate before. All I have near me is sardines. And I don't feel like opening those because my husband came home he's been gone all week, and I don't want to be like, you want to make out with my fish breath. I've got electrolytes and sardines.
I got my little pretzels and my little turkey stick, my peanuts.
I gotta say, the Goddess people sent me their new creatine bites. I got those next to me.
Oh, you got good stuff. I need to get some of that good, healthier stuff.
I should send these to you. I don't. The taste is funny. The taste is funny, but that's what I got. And then I've got some supplements I could try here. Some blue. Yeah, I'm real basic over here.
Mouth again. It's like you did.
Okay, so what I'm wondering though is how did the trainers treat you? Like, what was your experience with them? And this is something we're getting. Ooh, we got more questions. I'll keep starring them. But okay, so someone said, can you guys talk about the trainers? So you got Jillian, you chose her. You got to choose your trainer and you chose Jillian. How come? You wanted her to get you to where you needed to be?
Yeah, I just thought, from watching the seasons, I just thought that she would be a better fit for me. I got her personality from the show, from watching all the different seasons, and I thought she would be the best for me. And for what I feel, I was right. I didn't have a problem with Jillian. I didn't have a problem with her or training, but I also didn't have her that long as I wanted because they sent us off again to the Marine camp. So the boot camp with the Marines. So they weren't there. They came there for like the last workout, and she was with Ada and Elizabeth. That was their focus for the week was Ada and Elizabeth. So it wasn't like me. We got cut off, but I had went over into the sauna trying to get some of that, off my legs because they were so swollen so badly, and I was so miserable in pain. And I remember Ada running over there like, oh my God, you got to get out of there. But what it was is they sent Ada to come and get me to, because they were talking about something, you can get kicked off for this. Man, it was almost worth it. But they sent Ada over there, the group sent Ada over there because they didn't want me to sweat out no weight. They didn't want me to sweat out weight. So they sent her over there to get me out, to talk me to get out of there because they knew they were planning on getting rid of me. So they sent her. So it's damn if me feeling better. Damn me feeling better. They was just worried about me losing water weight so I can so I would be, have a higher weight loss or whatever. But yeah, Jillian will
do something fun. Sorry, since you're doing something fun, I'm gonna do something fun.
Okay.
This is a peptide.
Oh.
And speaking of, because one of our questions here is, who is hooking up? This is a peptide that helps with intimacy, but it takes an hour to kick in. So by the time we're done, I'll be like, hey, Leva, get on over here. And you don't have to take it in injection. You can it absorbs in your mouth in 15 seconds.
Oh.
So not that I'm getting frisky with you guys, but
ooh,
I don't know if you want to tell anybody, if you want to spill the beans. I will say for my season, the people who were hooking up before I got there.
Oh.
So it was early on season contestants, if people want to go look it up. And it was people who were there before I was there, is what I'm going to say. Okay, how about your season? I don't know if you want to spill that, but
I'm not.
If you do, go for it.
I'm not going to tell, but I'm really not, Mandy K. If it was me hooking up with somebody, I would tell. I really, I'll spill the beans all day long if it's something that was done to me. But I don't want to tell who it was. But I will say, if you go and look at the season, it's not hard to.
It's not hard?
It's not hard to not know. But when Brendan was talking, though, he was talking like it was more than the two people I know that was hooking up. He was making it seem like it was like the way he had phrased it was like a lot of people was getting it in. So that went over my head. I just know of one couple that was like real close and they was getting it in. And it was also told to me that they had got it in. So, good
for them.
Getting it in. But I don't want to tell who that person is. But if you look at the season, it's not hard. It's not hard to be like, ooh, I know who it is. At least that person. If it was more than that getting it in, I don't know.
If anybody watched the season and you want to put it in the chat, please do. Now I cannot wait to watch the season. I bet the views are going to go through the roof. Where do we watch your season? Because my season is censored. I guess the rights were sold, and you can find a bootleg version of it on YouTube, but not all the episodes are there.
Well, mine was on Amazon, except for the finale. I was mad, like, why the finale ain't on there? Because that's the juicy part. That's where you see everybody.
That's the best part. You get to see the transformation.
Right, but every season, every episode is on there except for the finale.
So prior to Jillian saying, hey, this girl's got lipedema, had anybody ever told you that before?
No.
Wow. Okay. That makes me like Jillian a little bit because not many people know about it. I mean, even surgeons don't know about it, and they should before chopping a person's stomach to pieces.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Nope. She brought it, like I said, she brought it to his attention. She was like, look at her legs. And she was like doing the thumb test and seeing, and seeing all the thumbprint with all the fluid that was in there. And they got me, she was like, could you please get her some compression socks? Like, she was on it. She was on it. So if she didn't, and then afterwards, like even when I was kicked off, voted off, she was like still communicating. You know, she was still communicating with me. And even after that, like 2 years outside of that, when she was doing a tour and she was in Atlanta, I contacted her. You know, she gave me passes to come, pull me up on stage, talk to me in front of, everybody. So it wasn't like she was trying to ghost me and say like, okay, the cameras is off, this is over. She was still a cool person. I had reached out to her, I think even beyond that, and she was still communicating. I reached out to her about something I needed a referral. I needed her to give me a, good referral for something. And and she made a call to get me so I can get certified. I'm a certified personal trainer because of her. But she had she had contacted people. So over at AFA, so that I can get that. I got certified in the very beginning for free, or either she paid for one or two, I don't know. But however it was done, it was because of her. So so she was cool. And my experience with Bob, I didn't have any except for one. See, when the group of people, when it was down to just the four, the rest of us were invited back to the ranch to have a workout for like a weekend. And we climbed the Billy Goat Trail. Dr. H, we were invited to his house. We were there kicking it with him in his house. And we did the Billy Goat Trail. And though some people were told that they had to do some people were told that am I out here by myself? Hey, everybody. I don't know. I guess she'll be back. But I was told that I had to, not me, I was told I had to do the trail to climb up to the Hollywood sign. And then some people were told that they had to do the trail where the cars go. And we had a workout with Bob, and it was something. I am on this thing by myself. I think she is gone. How's she going to be gone? It's her show. Hold on, y'all. I'm still here. If y'all it says live, which is why I'm still going for it. But let me call her and see what happened. Because I may be talking to myself, which is okay. Oh, she says I'm here. Oh, okay. Hey, girl. I just don't see you. Okay. She says she's there. So, but climb that mountain. That was something. I slipped that day too. I forgot who had caught me. I'd probably be dead, wouldn't even be on this phone call. They had to grab me. But but work out with Bob for that one. I was like, oh, Bob is mean. He was a different Bob than what the cameras see. So the whole good cop, bad cop thing, that's some BS.
Come on, system.
Yeah, they were, because she was the dark. They had him in his blue, and she had on the black. And it was a good cop, bad cop, the angel and the devil. And I'm like, Bob was no joke. I was like, Bob mean as hell. We went back. Yeah, I can see you.
Oh, thank God. Okay. Can I tell you a funny story? I have this other, this podcast I used to do with people, and they would always push me to help with the podcast. And so they would say, hey, hit that button. And multiple times I accidentally hit end stream while we had these like huge guests with huge platforms. And I moved a little bit on my mouse and it clicked exit. Thank God it didn't hit end stream, but whoo, I'm sweating over here. I'm so sorry that happened. I will try not to push buttons.
It's okay.
But you did a great job continuing on. So you had this interaction after the show with Bob where you climbed the mountain?
Yes, they had told us to come back. We came back for like a weekend or something like that, or a week or something like that. And we just had a
That's good, Elizabeth. I had to head home to, not yet. It hasn't kicked in yet. But anyway, okay, sorry. So you had this interaction with him and it was good. And he was nice?
No, he was not nice. I said he was mean as hell.
Oh, that's what he did to me too. He's so competitive that he can't even like be friends with you if you aren't on his team.
He was mean.
He would not even talk to me. I didn't know he was gay, which honestly, I don't care. I think my question was still valid. I'm from the Midwest, so my question is always, do you have kids?
Girl, what?
Do you have kids? That was my question. I think anybody these days can have kids. Like literally anybody can have kids. So I think that question's valid. And he looked over at his contestant and he said, tell her. And then he walked out of the room and they're like, he's gay. And I'm like, really? Because damn, he's hot. And I mean, good for the men to have him. Good for the men, but like, dang, we're missing out a big, like he's meaty and gorgeous, and he doesn't like women. Yeah,
I did not know that.
I don't think by season 3 that. I don't think that they.
You were 21, right?
And I was 21 and I was in North Dakota, and admittedly the college I went to, but growing up, my mom was a lesbian. So I've been around gay people my whole life. I've been to the drag shows. I've been to in Wisconsin, you're allowed to take your kids to the bar. So my mom brought me to all the gay bars. I mean, it's not like I don't have gaydar. I do. I didn't know. It's not like I haven't been around the community my entire life. I was, but I wasn't around Hollywood. Like the people that were around me were more normal. Like they weren't models, they weren't actors, they weren't. It's different. Okay. Nowadays, though, I don't know. I think a lot of the gay guys around me now are a lot more like Bob. Like. Times have changed. In the 80s, they were just, every day. And these days, I think the competition's a lot steeper. And, okay, I'm going to get myself in trouble here. There's some good-looking gay guys. That's all I'm saying.
There's a whole lot of good-looking gay guys. What you talking about?
They really keep up, too. No popcorn tonight. Not enough calories. That's good. I lost respect for Bob after the documentary. I did for 5 seconds. I mean, I kind of lost it when he wouldn't even talk to me as a human being. Like, I'm a human being. I'm here. This is so exciting for me. I mean, this could change my life. This is such an exciting experience. And to immediately, the second I step on set, realize I am not welcome here. And you would think at least the trainers would be like, hey, and admittedly, Kim, so Jillian took the season off. I guess there was something where she had other contracts going on and they were like, you better drop those contracts. And I guess she was like, no, thank you. And so they filled Kim in my season. Kim was very nice. But I think she too was like, I don't know what to do with this plot twist. So the whole thing was kind of awkward. So on the documentary, Bob was like, that Dr. H had a God complex. And I was thinking,
right.
But then I saw another interview where Bob was on Entertainment Tonight, and he said, hey, people who struggle with obesity, that's a monkey on their back for the rest of their life. And that was a different side. And I was like, so he gets it, that it's not that we didn't just exercise. It's not, the exercise isn't the only piece here. There's way more to this story.
It's not just about exercise. It's psychological, the whole thing. It's just, even when you know how they say like, Diet is 75% or 80%, and workouts is 20 to 25% of it, and there you go. But it's 100% mental.
It is coming from the brain. There's a brain disconnect.
It's
big time.
I mean, even the craving for sugar, even the craving for things that are not well for you come from the brain. That's mental.
We have a question on here, and then I want to get into, you were very successful on the show. You lost like 109 pounds plus, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to ask in a minute what happened after the show and your thoughts on the finale. But first, someone asked, did social media play a role during your time on the ranch? So for me, 2006, we barely even had cell phones back then.
Mm-hmm.
I remember telling my friend Angie from Georgia, from Atlanta, hey, you should be my Facebook friend. And she was like, what's Facebook? So in 2006, we had no social media. By the time the show came on, the social media was getting a little bigger. And so eventually when I gained my weight and ducked out, it was because I was getting really creepy messages. Did social media play a place in your journey?
Mm-mm. Not at all. It didn't. It was like I didn't have any, and nobody. I mean, people were just nice. I mean, people. I remember they were talking about. Well, I remember hearing Brennan talk about like the death threats and stuff like that. A lot of that came after I was voted off. It was a lot of. I know it was a lot of people that were going in on them because I remember them saying, putting in there that they were tired of, people sending them death threats. I got a general message from Biggest Loser with regards to that. A lot of hate, that was going towards them for things that they did. I mean, what happened to me was rotten. I don't want to wish nothing bad on anybody, but it was a lot of people who had opinions, about how you do people. And it didn't look good. Some of the things that were done, it just didn't look good. When it was all edited and put out there, it just didn't look nice. So, but I didn't have any problems. Nobody talked about me. Nobody had any comments. And I'm glad, because I mean, I don't think, again, that I presented myself in any kind of way, because I just wasn't with it. I wasn't with all I didn't want to do all the gameplay and all that kind of stuff. Like I said, I talked over with Brendan, and when they were talking about putting me off, and Jillian was talking to Fredo and Brendan about it and letting me go and everything, and they were making a decision to let Rick go and stuff. I didn't wish I hadn't even heard anything about all that, because I just, it just wasn't right. It wasn't cool. I don't even think I voted for Elizabeth to go. I just watched Habits around there, and I was like, oh. And I'm not the type of person, and again, this definitely is not really a shade to her, but she was a weaker person in comparison to them. And it was like keeping her around when you could be her. You know what I'm saying? Keep somebody around that you know that's going to give you a little bit of competition. Like, what's up with it? But you want to vote the person off that you scared of, that's a better competitive to beat you. So I get it. You want to win the money, but to me, it just speaks to weak. Like, I want the person that's going to give me a challenge, that's going to push me even harder, that I know I got to push to try to make this happen. I don't want to keep the weaker link around because I know I could beat them. You know what I'm saying? And it was like one of them things. But no, social media, back to what Jessica was asking, no, social media didn't do anything for me. It didn't play a role.
When you got there, did what kind of plan were you given to even lose this weight? Were you given a plan, or?
Oh, absolutely.
How did you determine how you were going to lose this weight?
Well, I didn't determine that. I mean, they gave me the calories and I followed it. I mean, I followed it to a T. That was the good thing about having Cheryl, when her taking us to the store, and knowing how to identify foods, the whole, I didn't even understand the psychology of the grocery store. Cause like, that's my favorite place. Like, for real. Like, I'll go to it's just like for tranquility, everything. I love the grocery store. But I didn't even know that if you stay on the outer perimeters of the grocery store, that's where all the healthy stuff is. And it was like an aha moment for me. And going down each aisle is where it's the things you should not have. And she took us on that tour and explained that. And it was like, oh my gosh. I was like, you know how people be like, I was today when I found out. And it was just kind of one of those aha moments for me. And he gave us our chart. I even still have where my all my blood work and everything was. Kind of something, if you go to a functional medicine doctor, they will do that whole workup for you too. But I got a whole workup of that. I still have the one that Dr. H originally did, and telling me where my resting metabolic rate should be and how many calories I should have. It was a certain point that I was as low as like 600. And I thought that was insane. But when you learn how to eat, and I'll hear people today even say that's insane, but when you learn how to eat, prepare your food, meal prep, 600 calories sounds very low, but you can get a smorgasbord out of 600 calories. If you know how to pick your foods and how, you know, what, weighing out your food and log it and all that. So I was like, that was another thing that I was like, I'm not trying to hear what people are talking about. Stop putting food in your mouth. Stop putting the wrong stuff in your mouth. I don't want to hear it. Because I mean, I did it with 600 calories and then I increased, you know, as I was losing weight. Of course, he gave me more calories. But plus I like to cook and I wasn't bored eating the same old thing. But if you know how to prep your food and you make the right choices, when I say a smorgasbord, I mean it. You can have so much food where you are getting the amount of vitamins and nutrients that you should have per day off that food. I'm not talking about just eating iceberg lettuce and all of that. 600 calories, believe it or not, can go a nice little way. Believe it.
So something I've learned since The Biggest Loser a little bit debunks that. And that would be, we were told fat is bad. And fat has 2.5 times the calories. So to get a lot into 600 calories, you would have to eat almost no fat. Do you know what happens when you eat no fat?
You can tell me because they want to know, but I ate fat. So go ahead.
Yeah. We need fat. We need cholesterol for our hormones. Our thyroid converts fat into sex hormones. So your hormones will bomb out. But other than that, you don't properly use your gallbladder and the bile in there starts to harden and you end up with stones eventually. And so low fat here and there clears some things out. Cool. Helps you lose a little weight. Low fat in the long run has health problems for sure. How does Adrian know? Because she did it for years and years and years from The Biggest Loser on, and then was wondering, why am I having this horrendous pain? And I would go in and they would be like, well, we can tell there's something wrong because you have a fever, but it's just sludge, they would say. It's just sludge. And I'm like, I'm going to throw up. Like, it was worse than childbirth, I think, the gallbladder pain.
I heard.
Many people have gallbladder issues. And then what they do is they just take it out instead of telling you, like, hey, we need to slowly implement some fat in your diet to open that gallbladder back up and hope we can move some stones without an infection. But anyway, so healthy fat is good for our people.
Right. And I have some. I also was told that, this is just a little for your information, I think every season somebody had a gallbladder or something where they had to be emergency. We had one too. I don't want to say who it is, but I think every season somebody had at least one contestant that had to go to the hospital because they had a gallbladder situation. And I believe
do you have any injury? Because when I got to the season, everyone had injuries except for me, because Dr. H told us at home to do an hour in the morning, an hour and a half at night. So we had break in between instead of, 10 hours, 16 hours a day. We had break.
I did not have an injury. My injury came a couple years later. I didn't have an injury. Plus, I don't have a thyroid too. I wanted to go back to that. What you were saying, maybe it worked for me because my thyroid was removed in 2007. So it was literally taken out. I had an overactive thyroid and it was taken out. It was in storm. So I was thyroid storm. So they had to take it out. As far as the workout injuries, no. When I left, like I said, I would get up and work out for about an hour before it was time for me to go to work. And then I would go to work and I would take like one or two breaks. I would take my lunch break and stuff, and I would climb the stairs. We had like 12 flights, I believe. And I would go up 12 flights of stairs on my breaks till people at my job were like, hey, can I walk with you? And I was like, yeah. And we'd be walking the stairs because even when they did my Where Are They Now, they kind of tied into that because that was what I was doing. And then when I got off of work, I would go see my trainer, or I would go take a class at the Y where I teach Zumba too. I'm a certified Zumba instructor. So I would go take a Zumba class or something with dancing. And I would do that. That was my 3 workout that I would have during the middle of the day. And it was just falling off. It was going. And I was cool. It was like, all right. I would make foods at home and take them to work and share them with my, coworkers and stuff. And I'm like, see, you can have chocolate mousse made out of tofu and it's still healthy and all this stuff. I would take stuff and they'd be like, oh my God, you're crazy. But they would tear that food up. They did not know that food was as healthy as it was. And that's what I would do.
So did you do anything crazy for the finale? Like, did you get your butt plunged? Mm-mm. Did you rub Bengay all over your body and then wrap yourself in saran wrap and head to the sauna?
I heard y'all talking about all that, and I was like, nope, I didn't do any of that. I'm gonna tell you what I attempted to do. Just communication, the little line of communication is something that we had going on, and people were making comments. Do you remember that drug Ally? That if you eat any kind of fat, you recruit it on yourself. So I was like, I hit a wall. And now I got to give my shout out to Buddy Prim. Buddy Prim, he is he was, I don't know if you know the football player Terrell Owens. Okay. Some of the viewers, I'm sure, probably will. But he used to be Terrell Owens' trainer. He used to work with him and get him together and kept him together. So I was introduced from an NFL player. I was introduced to him, and he helped me get over the wall because I had hit a wall. When it was like doing a Today Show, I hit a wall. And Buddy was like, you do not have to work out like that. Oh, that's a whole nother something. Let me go to that. But anyway, shout out to Buddy. So I had what was you asking me? I forgot because I got sidetracked.
If you did anything crazy for the finale.
Right. So I ordered a box of Ally. And it was like a movie because it sat on my desk and my coworkers, we were all sat around and we were looking at it. And I was like, should I take it? And, it was like a couple of them was like, take it, just take it. And then the rest of them were like, no, keep doing it right. Do it right. Do it right. I opt to do it right. I did not take that Ally. I wasted that money on there, but it was sitting there. We were just looking at it and I was like, oh, I wonder if I should just take it. But I was like, nope. Morally, I was like, I'm good. I had worked my ass off naturally. I did it right. I did it without any drugs. I did it without any help. I did it just the way it's supposed to be done, diet and exercise. And I took strong pride in that. Oh God, it felt so good. It was just amazing. I did not get any help. So I just left it. I didn't take it. I just went for it. I did the right thing. And I felt good about it. And I sustained it probably because of that.
So for anybody out there who's ever done, I feel like The Biggest Loser is such a experiment of this isn't a lack of effort. Look at these amazing people. If you can lose 110 pounds, if you can lose 30 pounds, you are amazing because you're actually fighting your biology to lose that weight. And you did it and you're amazing. And look at all these people who lost all that weight. And then for me, so I started out about 230, got down to about 160, and I ended up 330. What did anything happen to you? Were you able to maintain? Yes. What happened after the show?
I have maintained it. I come to understand that stress with me is it's the stress. I had Well, I was running at the law firm. They had a gym in the basement that was belonged to the building or whatever. So we would go work out there. That was something I did. About in 2012, I was running, doing sprints, and the bolt broke on the right side, and it tried to throw me off. The treadmill's going 12 miles, and I'm running 12 miles an hour on this treadmill doing sprints. Jump, jump. And when it broke, I was running. And to keep myself from falling, I hurt my knee. And I hurt my medial deltoid. It wasn't even a rotator cuff. And this hurt so bad. I had no range of motion, nothing. And I thought I had torn the rotator cuff. And the doctor was like, no, I just think it's just based off the x-ray. I think you just, maybe it's just bruised or whatever. So as the weeks went on, this started to, feel better, hurt less. And my knee, I was hiking Stone Mountain in Atlanta. For those in Atlanta that know Stone Mountain, I was hiking Stone Mountain like 2 times a week. All the time. I love Stone Mountain. I was a junkie. This girl that I told you from Detroit and Cleveland and stuff, and I don't do mountains, and was in Utah hiking a mountain every day, a different mountain. And I was like, what is this crap? Black people don't do this. It's crazy. I was literally fiending for a mountain. And then people were like, did you try Stone Mountain or Kennesaw? Kennesaw is okay, but Stone Mountain was it. So I'm hiking Stone Mountain all the time. I'm doing it like once or twice a week and everything. My knee started hurting and it was getting worse. This was getting better. This was hurting worse, my knee. And it went from about 6 months. I'm hiking still on this knee. Do you know I took a, what was his name? Delvet, the trainer that came in. He had was teaching in Atlanta. He would do like a pop-up workout or whatever. And he was like, come on through and do the class with me, So I did the class and was like his little celeb from the show there. And my knee was hurting even worse. I came to Cleveland to my cousin's wedding, had on them heels, and we were at the reception and I was dropping it. I could not get back up. It had completely torn. The medial meniscus had torn. It had a nice rip, and I couldn't walk. So that time going through that rehab, I had put a little bit of weight back on. Then I had to have a foot surgery behind that. And so I had weight, and then I was like, oh God, I'm going back to finish school. So I gained like 80 pounds and then I lost it. That was like, I made up my mind in August. So from August to December, I dropped that weight and then some, because I know the formula and it worked for me still. And it was like, no problem. So you got to remember, I finished in 2010 and I had this little pop of weight gain like in 2016, 2015. My body was still working off of it. I was good. And I kept it off. It's been off all these years up until I came home back to Cleveland to visit my mom random. And my mom found out that she had a second breast. And my mother double mastectomy, no breast. She had a second breast cancer. And it was loaded. My mother was completely fine. She didn't have like no sickness, little twinge from a hip replacement. She found out she was gonna die. They were like, she's lucky if she makes it 9 months. We were like, what? So in the course of her transitioning, I gained about 150 pounds. And then people could say COVID was thrown in there, but the only thing that COVID did was prevent me to, be able to probably get out and do more. If I wanted to go walking or something like that and push her around in a wheelchair and just walk or whatever. But no, mine was just from hormonal. It's cortisol. It's just that stress. So that's the state of being that I'm in now. So I've been here since 2020 and I've had like a torn Achilles. I'm dealing with a frozen shoulder. I literally had frozen shoulder, was diagnosed with frozen shoulder a couple weeks ago. Going through PT now to try to get that back right. Inherited my mom's doggy that's been with us since she was 6 weeks old. So now I'm a mother. I'm a dog mom. And so all these different things have drug the process of me getting this weight off. And the point that I'm just like tired as hell. It's like, I just don't feel like it right now, but I have to, because the weight that's back on me is helping to highlight the problems that I'm dealing with. So I got to get this weight back off. And I am. I am, making the efforts again to get it back off. But yes, to your question, Adrian, I have kept it off, no problem. I've been keeping
To
it
do that, did you have to continue to work out a ton and track everything you were eating, or was it just kind of a breeze?
Nope, it was a breeze. I knew how to eat. I didn't have to track everything. I'm gonna tell you what helped me though. Just staying active. And when I say staying active, because I'm a working actress and we don't do a whole lot of activity. I'm gonna tell you what did it. I've never waitressed before in my life. And when I started to pursue acting full time, which is in 2017, I got a waitressing job for the first time in my life. And it was a daytime waitress. So it wasn't like I was working at night but I was a daytime waitress at a daytime cafe. And just that walking for the shift of like maybe a 6:30 or 7 in the morning to 3 in the afternoon, that walk of waiting on people and doing that, I kept it off. It stayed off. I had not a problem whatsoever.
So when I show you these comments, well, you've watched some of my things, so I did the same Biggest Loser thing. After I got up to 330, I started running and working out, doing HIIT classes, tracking everything. It was a lot of broccoli and chicken on repeat, right? Pretty low fat, lots of veg, lean proteins. And I was able to get 100 pounds off. And that's amazing. Looking back, that's amazing. But then I started gaining weight again and I knew something was off, but I didn't quite know what. And of course, the narrative out there is that I just needed therapy. I just needed to work hard. I just needed to restrict more. But I was already restricting and I was already working out, but my body was gaining weight. So I had the gastric bypass and I was able to get to the 160s, but I fought the 200 line for the next 10 years. And then I had 2 more kids. I ended up having 5 kids.
After the gastric bypass?
I had 2 before the gastric bypass and 3 after, and 1 is in heaven. But she passed away while I was mid-pregnancy. So I never got to meet her. I was just thinking of that the other day, of how I never got to meet her. I have a friend who is really struggling post-loss of a child. He was, I think, 6 years old. And I think about her every day, because it's very different when you got to be that child's mom for so long. And I never got to meet mine, Anyway. So 2 kids, gastric bypass, 3 more pregnancies, and now I'm back at my start weight of gastric bypass, darn near. So the gastric bypass was not the ticket for me. So I keto, I low carb, I eventually end up carnivoring, which is why I'm so obsessed with sardines, because one of the carnivore variations is just to eat nothing but sardines. And I did that. And I did the lion diet where you eat nothing but beef, water, and salt. And I did all these things. Still struggling with my weight. And I just knew it cannot be this hard. And out there, they just keep saying, well, you're just too dumb. You don't know how to track. You're just not exercising enough. And I'm like, guys, I'm exercising 4 hours a day. I'm consistent. I'm tracking. I'm weighing my food. I'm getting 97% lean hamburger and then adding the fat so I can perfectly measure everything. And I'm gaining weight, you guys. And people didn't believe me. And eventually I went with the GLP-1, and it's been such a difference, because I don't know if you've looked into it. It's a hormone that we have. And when you don't have that hormone, the signaling doesn't go to your pancreas and it doesn't go to your brain. And so it's been absolutely life-changing.
Well, let me tell you about this GLP-1. So in 2021, in December 2021, this will be a year me back, with the weight on me. My cardiologist, before Ozempic and everything took off and was, this phenomenon, whatever, he was like, yes, this new drug, and, let's just try it. You're pre-diabetic. We don't want you to, be a diabetic and everything. And then from what I'm hearing, it'll help you lose a few pounds or whatever too. So I'm not a big medicine taker. And I was like, all right. So I gave it a try. I took 1 dose, which was the lowest dose. I took that dose. When I tell you, I thought I was going to die. I'm that person. I had every side effect that they had on there. And I was like, yeah, I can't do this. I was sick as a dog. They had the audacity to even ask me Did I want to try it again? I was like, are you insane? My son was so scared. He was like, do I need to take you to the hospital? I was vomiting. Every side effect. So yeah, it doesn't work for me. So not
So
good, you know.
the problem, I don't know if you've looked into this part, is that first of all, Ozempic is so GLP-1 heavy that it has a lot of side effects, and they have newer ones like I do tirzepatide, and so it's not as side effect heavy. The other problem was they were using standard dosing. So for you, I would have cut that in a half or a quarter and started you there because nobody needs to be overdosed. My husband, he can only take the starting dose of tirzepatide is 2.5. He only takes 0.8 every couple of weeks because if he takes one, he's sick. Me, I can take like 7 and I'm in heaven. So it's crazy how different every body is, and they gave you the wrong dose, and that's an old medicine. Like in no time, people are going to be not even talking about Ozempic because it's so old compared to what they have coming out now. That's so much better. And the newer ones actually help you preserve muscle and open up more pathways to the brain. It's crazy. Yeah, I'm sorry you had such a bad experience. I'm telling you, it's a whole new world. Come to radicallyhealthy.com.
Well, you know what? I'm giving myself, with reason, realistic goals or whatnot, but I'm giving myself one more shot to try to get this off on my own, the way that I, know that I have done and can do. Not Biggest Loser style. That's over. I'm not doing that ever. But, with my...
in a deficit, eating healthy foods.
Right. So, and because of how long I've done that, I am like really not that bad of an eater. I'm more of a clean eater in so many ways. And I love to cook, and I'm always preparing my stuff a certain way and using the specific things that are not as, fat driven or what, you know what I mean? Yeah. So I'm gonna give it one more shot, but if not, I may take you up on that and check it out.
I think people should some people only need lifestyle. That is like such a great ticket, and it's a baseline. Like people shouldn't be just taking Ozempic and eating pizza. Like let's make sure we're getting your nourishment in. Are you getting your... I don't want to even say the F word, fiber.
But
my group doesn't like fiber.
You got to change this.
You got to work on gratitude, serving others, giving it to God or your higher power. You got to change your mindset about the whole process. And that to me was the biggest downfall of why statistically you see so many people from the Biggest Loser fail. Like, listen, I don't know their personal, situations with food or their own personal health and stuff, but I know full well fact, no matter who you are in doing this, whether it's Biggest Loser or not, if you don't change your mindset, you're not going to succeed. You're going to be back in a situation that you were in from the very beginning because you didn't change anything. Like you said, people want to do the quick fix with the GOP, and then eat pizza. Like, no, that's not going to work. Or forget the eating part. People were on the show for the money and the fame. The money, the fame, the money, the fame. And it's like, I'm here because I want to live. I'm here because I want to be a mom again for my son. Screw that money. It was great if I had won it. Fantastic. But I'm here for reasons that were different. And that was my goal, and that was my focus. And that's why I can proudly say that I was the only girl my season that lost over 100 pounds. Hello. Wow.
Hello. Doggone it. Because, and I'm going to tell you something, my 109 I was actually smaller than that. I told Dr. A, I had a fibroid tumor. I had 2 of them in me. One that was the size of a football and the other one the size of a baseball. It was sitting in my gut. That's why I still had that little pooch. I had lost so much weight, and my, where my stomach and everything was toning up, and you could see the fatness from that like fibroid. And I was like, Dr. H, I want to get it out. And he screamed at me. He was like, don't you dare get that surgery before finale.
Why?
I guess maybe he thought I would be, you get surgery, you gain weight, you got water retention and all that kind of stuff. I'm assuming the best, but I don't know. Because I took that out, I was down. I had my total weight loss was like over 120 some odd pounds that I had lost. I had lost a lot of weight. And when I got that surgery, I lost even more. But I had two big fibroids that were in there. As soon as the show was over, I had my appointment already made. I came home for Christmas after the show, went back in January, and I had those fibroids removed. I had a myomectomy.
Wow. Have you ever been tested for insulin resistance?
I believe so, yes.
Yeah. And does anything ever come up? No, same here. Nothing ever comes up. But I think part of the reason it doesn't come up is because I actually do eat pretty clean, even when I've been struggling with my weight.
Yep, I do too.
And so, I mean, I don't eat ice cream. I don't eat pie. I don't know. So I don't give it something to test to get the test to come back.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let me see here. What else do we have? Do you have any other dishes that we missed?
I don't know. No, I don't know. Unless you ask me. But I'm all about telling. Like I said, I don't want to tell other people's stuff. But if it's involving me, I definitely, in any shape or fashion, I will tell. So.
Yeah, I thought it was interesting. We were talking about the Fit for TV, and I mean, I can't. They're you brought up the emotional part too. Right after the show, I did get into a very bad marriage. I was being emotionally and verbally and financially and every way I was being abused. Every way except for physical. All the other ways. And so I put on that 160 pounds. And I guess I kind of ate it. And what turned it around for me was, well, I quit drinking, but I did that because I was trying to be perfect because he told me I wasn't perfect enough. But that got me into the 12-step program that got me reworking my brain. And I still catch myself. While we were on, I got a message from a friend messaging about my stories. I still struggle with not being good enough, not being perfect enough, not getting enough done, and I have to give myself grace. And I learned at least a little bit to give myself grace during that program. And it wasn't until then that so much lifted off my shoulders. And I think I wish everybody could do a 12-step program. I think we would live in utopia. I'm not saying people have to quit drinking. That's not it. It's just looking at what your part is in things and what your part isn't, and letting that part go, whether that's giving it to God or whatever, letting that stuff go and living in gratitude. Like you had said, you were so grateful for part of it. You struggled between the two, or you said something like that, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I meant that. The reason why I stayed overweight for that decade was, I guess it was a suffering of depression, because I was writing songs. I was a songwriter. I had girls groups that I was working with, getting them signed and dealing with that. And I was in an abusive relationship. Misery loves company, whether you're a good person or not. Misery loves company. And I was miserable. And I had a toxic relationship. I had a guy. We're friends. We're still friends today, and I've forgiven him for a lot of things. But he was abusive. He was physically abusive. He was emotionally abusive, verbally abusive. And, and that a lot of that comes from his own insecurities and his own struggles. But yeah, he was a very abusive individual, and I dealt with that for a whole 10 years, but I stayed in it, 50%. He was horrible, and the other 50 I stayed there because I didn't have to. I could have gotten out, but I was miserable and I wanted company just as much as he was miserable and he wanted company. So I have to take accountability for my part, staying in that. But I could see the light at the end. He was also an obese individual. But I wasn't always obese. And I saw the light at the end of the tunnel. And, and I had a specific relationship with God. And it was like, I told you, I was like, God, I just surrender. What do you want me to do? And this is before I got on the show, and I think this is one of the reasons why I actually got on the show. So although I had tried out all those different times, I don't think I was ready. It's about, again, I will tell you, you got to be ready, because you're going to just yo-yo, or either you're going to set these high expectations and goals. And then when the moment you fall, it's like you just give it all up. You got to be ready. And it takes time. Some people can reach that, point, and then some people can't. It's just this reality. It's just life. But, when I was ready and like I said, I surrendered, I said, God, just tell me what you want me to do and I'll do it. And I sat and I was obedient. I finally was doing what I already knew he wanted me to do, but I wanted what I wanted. And I wasn't doing what he wanted me to do. And so when I surrendered and I gave it all to God, things changed and shifted for me. And the one time I didn't want to even do The Biggest Loser, I ended up getting all the way, and a lot of other doors open for me and everything, but it was changing my mind. When I went on that show, my mind had changed. I was transforming my thinking and how I thought, just what even I thought about myself and not what everybody else thought about me, even though I was talking about earlier saying that you had the accountability of people looking at you and depending on you. And it was like, yeah, but it transitioned into me, into what was good for me, what I needed to do for me. I was on that ranch and I'm walking. I got used to the coyotes by then. And it was just, and I was in my zone and it was just, I was there. I was ready. I was ready to get my life back on a healthier side. I was ready for that, So
you are such a beautiful woman.
Oh, thank you.
And it's such a gift that you've been given such a gift. And I don't think everybody gets that. Okay. And I pray that everybody can, but they don't. And you are just so beautiful. Okay. We did get a couple questions. One, Did they allow any medicine on the ranch? I didn't see anybody taking any medicine, like blood pressure or anything.
Yeah, Jessica, I didn't see that. They snatched all mine from me. I couldn't take nothing. I told you I couldn't even take my water pill. And Lord knows I needed it. But I tell you what, my blood pressure dropped. Even though I didn't have it, I was like, woof. Everything, no blood pressure medicine. Dr. H took that away. No water pills. I didn't see anybody else taking any, unless you had like something like Elizabeth had asthma. She had to have her inhaler when it was necessary. And, if it was something like that. But other than that, I didn't see anything. If they did,
was caffeine a thing on your season?
They did have caffeine. They had the little caffeine packets that were up there. That was another thing. I was like, why are y'all talking about Jillian? Them caffeine packets been sitting up there in the cabinet forever. And, she was like, it's a better alternative than coffee. Okay. I didn't take it because I didn't even drink coffee. I just started becoming a coffee drinker in the last, few years. And I still ain't really even a coffee drinker. I have a little bit here, it give me headaches because, it opens up those blood vessels. And then when you stop, if you're not one that drinks it every day, your blood vessels go back, but all that pounding. So, but no.
The caffeine was such a weak one. Like I could come up with 10 peptides right now. That'd be so much stronger.
But they had the little caffeine packets that were sitting up there always. That wasn't no big to do. I'm like, why? They were making a big old stink about it on that show. I'm like, them caffeine packets been up there forever. And it was option. Take it or don't take it. Nobody ever rammed anything. So I was like, where are they getting this from? Jillian ain't do all that. And if she did, maybe she had a little, I don't know. Because she didn't do it.
These days, they have creams that you can put on your body that will burn fat where the cream goes.
Does it work? You tried it?
I need to be more consistent with it. Admittedly, since there was a big family change earlier this year, and I struggled to get to the gym consistently, but now I'm going 4 or 5 days a week. I'm getting some exercise. And so I'll let you know, I'm going to put it on my legs and my butt because that's where, but it's a peptide and it absorbs through your skin and it spots checks and activates those fat cells. And the gym bros and the bikini people swear it works. Yeah.
If it works, let me know. I need it on my hamstrings. One, I'm lazy as hell. I will do leg work except for hamstrings. I can't stand it. I'll do bridges and I'll have a Charlie horse. That's how weak my hamstring muscles are. I will do a bridge and it'll be like, oh my God, I got a cramp. It just hurts so bad because I need to do better, but I'll put that on the back of my hamstrings and I'll do some bridges. So let me know.
I'll let you know, because this is a problem area. I lose weight from the boobs up, unfortunately for my husband, from the boobs up. Speaking of, that PT141's kicking in. I'm just kidding. Let's see here.
No, she not. She like, let's wrap this damn show up. We got about 6 minutes.
She did just knock on the door a little bit ago.
We like, you better get your butt in here.
Yeah. Are you done yet? It's time. Okay. Did you have a therapist you could talk to? So on our season, when you were an at-home contestant, there's 36 of us, we had a therapist and we had community and we had phone calls with each other. Once you went on the ranch, I want to say you weren't supposed to talk to anyone once you were voted off. I don't know about you, but I'm pretty sure it was supposed to be like, because you weren't supposed to know what happened on the show after you left. You weren't supposed to let anybody know anything. I don't think we're supposed to talk to anybody. But then later on, I found out I was the only one following the rules. And they were like, don't tell a soul a thing or we'll sue you for $1 million. So it was so hard for honest little Adrian to not tell my whole family all the stuff that had happened. I get to the finale and they're like, you didn't tell anyone? And I'm like, I don't have $1 million. So no, I didn't tell a soul anything. Anyway, where was I going with that? I forget. Do they have therapists? On the show, the therapist was the trainer. I forget what his name was. He was the tape guy. It has a girl's name. Why is it? Did you have the tape guy? Mm-mm. He has a real girl's name, like Stacy, except he's a dude.
Everybody. You talking about Sandy?
Sandy was the only therapist and the PAs on our season. Did you guys have access to the therapist?
We had a psychiatrist. He was another Dr. H. We had a psychiatrist. He's the one who administered our IQ tests and everything. Again, we're a study. So he did the IQ test and everything. I think that was during finals week. And then he was around if you needed to talk to him. I remember when I got voted off. He was there when we got voted off too. He was there. So they did have access to talk.
He was the man in the van. I don't know if you were in the previous episodes. I was talking about how there was this man in the Suburban. So you get in and there's this guy there with a pen and a paper and he's like, how are you doing? Are you okay? And I'm like, I couldn't even talk to him. Like, no, I'm not freaking okay. I'm still obese and they kicked me off the show.
Well, he wouldn't even talk to me. He was like, Anna, goodbye. I told him I was like, I'm binging. I'm binge eating. I'm stressing. I had 8 cookies. He said, Anna, goodbye. I was like, you are not binge eating. He was like, pretty much telling me I got people out here that's like really struggling with this. You're fine. 8 cookies, girl, goodbye. And I was like, okay. Then I just, went on about my business and handled it. But I didn't need them. I really didn't. It was such a breakthrough when I first got there, with my first workout with Jillian, and just to hear, and it's crazy because I got a whole family with whole sisters, brothers, and everything. And nobody, and my mother was still alive at that time, and my dad too. And nobody said, it's not your fault. And she was like the only person that said, it's not your fault. And I was like, yeah. And if they had said it, I just don't remember. It's one of them things where you could tell your kids stuff all day long and they don't listen. But then when somebody on the outside say something, they listen, and it kind of just felt like that. So I don't recall anybody in my family ever just saying it's not your fault. And she was the one that did. Hi, I don't know who cared. I'm sorry. That's Biscuit. Biscuit, I am live on YouTube. You will not.
That was so beautiful. It's like Dr. H looked at me and he said, you're struggling with your weight because you're lonely. And when he said that, it was like, Wow, nobody's ever said that to me before. But when you look into humans and loneliness, it can literally kill you.
So yeah, I was just like, wow. And she had me and she was like, it's
Beautiful.
your fault. And I was like, wow. And that was like something that I needed. It was like a breakthrough moment that I just needed. And I was like, yeah. So I'm glad I got you. That's what I needed. Even if it was just to have the, one little word. That's why we had our little moment at the end when I was up there on that scale. I was so happy, and Allison was like, what are you guys doing? Talking. And it was just like,
So who said that to you? The therapist or
no,
Jillian?
no. Who Jillian said to me it wasn't my fault. That's who said that to me. She said that when we first had our workout and we were talking and stuff, and she was like, it's not your fault. And I needed to hear that. Look at me. My little mushy side. Yeah. And it was just like, so I needed to hear that. So it's like, I know she in the media right now for the dumb stuff she done said. She done said some dumb stuff. She has dumb stuff about slavery and all that. It's like, Jillian, shut up. But regardless to the fact, of whatever that mess is going on, for me, she was like, that was my girl. I appreciated her very much so. And even if it was just for that season, season of my life, she was the one I needed. She was right on time. So yeah.
Oh, but you're not the only one to say something like that. There's a lot of people who say that about her. It's so funny. It's with both the trainers, people have such bipolar things to say about each of them. People who love Bob absolutely love Bob, and they're like, he's the best guy. He's my guy. People love Jillian. And then the opposite. If you don't, you don't. I personally just feel like my show was a long time ago. If I saw Bob, I'd be like, hey, how's it doing? It's good to see you again. I'm glad you're still here.
I hope he say something back.
I would be like, can I get you a steak? A ribeye? A wagyu? I'm not into the vegan thing. I'm the opposite of the vegan. People are just getting warmed up, Anna. I don't have that much time left, but let me see if do you still have some time?
I do. I may have to take a quick
How's that wine bottle going? Do we need another one?
No, we still like, we're only halfway. I'm not going to drink it all though. I'm probably happening anyway.
Did you get any swag like exercise equipment? I'm going to go first and say no. But when you guys got body bugs, they sent me a body bug. That was the only thing I got. I also got a whole packet of Genio tickets, which there was another one. I swear I checked it, but I didn't. And they asked if we had to do commercials. And on our season, we had to do
I'm still here. I'm still here.
I commercials for Genio and sugar-free Jello. And there was probably something else, but those are the two I specifically remember.
Well, Genio, I got a lot of Genio. I'm sorry. This is me moving because I'm trying to stay with you. I have my little baby. She got to go to the bathroom, honey, and she don't care nothing about being on YouTube or nothing else. Go ahead, sweetheart. So let me cut my light on here so you can see me maybe. I don't know.
Yeah. Did you get it? Oh, that's good. That's good.
So she, is that working?
That's good right there.
Yeah. So yes, I got the body bug. I got a lot of little stuff on the side like that. We had the body bug, Genio. They used to send us this food. I had did a commercial with God, I can't even remember the name of it now, but they would send these food. The food I didn't like, but the snacks. It taught me how to eat these healthy snacks, like pirate booties they were in there, and I would tear them pirate booties up. This is before they became like really popular. I was like, oh my God, these are great. And they would send the best snacks in the world. I didn't like the food. I just didn't like the food. I would like, yeah, I'm good. I'll just order my food. I'm fine.
Yeah. Did you get
I'll make my own food.
Treadmill or a bike?
No, I got a bike, but my bike didn't come from Nothing Biggest Loser. It came from Atlanta Cycle. They gave me like a $3,500 bike
to support your journey.
Yes,
that's awesome.
I love that bike because I wanted to ride a bike, and I would walk to work, and it was miles. People were like, "Did you walk to work?" I was like, "Yep." And I was like, I wish I had a bike because I would ride my bike to work. And I did. I did a couple times. But that was all I got out of it because we, our finale was in December and the weather would change and I wasn't able to ride it like I wanted to ride it. But I still have the bike and I still ride it every now and then.
That's awesome. Did you ever, yeah, and you did talk about the commercials. Did you watch the documentary?
I did.
I know the answer. And what did you think?
I thought it was I think it was more BS than not. I want to know who in the hell made the selection of who they picked to go on there. I think they picked probably the most dysfunctional people. I don't know why they picked, what was it, Joelle? Is that her name?
Yeah, Joelle's the one that blocked me. So
I don't know why
she's struggling. And so I'm sending her some love and hope that she can have what you were granted with, which was peace.
Well, she probably blocked you. Maybe she blocked you for contract reasons because she can't talk.
She said I triggered her.
Oh, you triggered her.
She said I triggered her, and then she blocked me.
That documentary didn't trigger her.
So she had compiled a list of the people who've passed away, which, by the way, when we hit end, we are going to honor the lady that passed away from your season. Was it Tina? Do you know who passed away from your season?
Tina, that's what Brendan has said. Yeah, I know Tina had passed, though. I know, I saw it.
So I took her reel and I reshared it, and Dr. H said, "Where did you get this from?" And I realized I probably should vet things before I post them because, Lord, what if some of these people are still here? I just posted this to my thousands of subscribers, and even Dr. H saw it. So I immediately took it down and I asked her, "How did you find this? I would love to just verify the information." And she said that she asked the group, and then I found a news article that recently posted and I was able to verify. And I said, "Oh, hey, just so you know, you are correct. Here's the article." And she said that I triggered her and then blocked me.
Oh, Dr. H saw it? I'm sorry, I'm drifting from what you said. And Jessica said, "Did you watch the doc?" Anna, what you mean? Oh, the documentary. Oh,
yeah. And you thought it was kind of, where did they get these people?
Yeah, I was like, I know, what's the guy's name who gained a lot
Danny.
Yes.
Danny's going to come on someday. He's amazing.
Yeah, I know Danny was on there. But I just think that if you were going to do it, I think I would have liked to have seen a representative from every season or something more than just what they had, because the opinions are so different. It's just, it's different, and it was just, that was crazy. Like, I remember hearing, because I'm from Detroit. And so I remember, and that's what Joelle is from. What was her partner's name? I can't think of her, Carla. And so, I heard just in talk, because they would talk, people would talk, and Carla, everybody loved Carla, and they just couldn't stand Joelle. They couldn't stand her. And I didn't know why they couldn't stand her or whatever. And I know a couple of people that know her. My cousins in Detroit know her. They know her, and they were telling me a little bit about her. But
we were talking on the phone, and I really liked her. I think this whole thing is so traumatizing, and I don't know.
Don't understand why they picked her, though. And I'm sorry, but I gotta go here.
They were going for a negative feel.
Yeah. And it's not a lot of, and I don't like the fact that you picked a Black woman when we're like Black African Americans, Blacks, however you want to put it, barely got cast for the show. You know what I'm saying? You had enough people, you ain't really have to go there. It's like, and then you put us into this light, and we already have these like really bad stereotypes that go along with it. And I was just like, oh gosh, it just wasn't a good look and a good representation. Not for the show, not for her season, not for her, and not for our community. I just was like, dude, we barely get a shot on the show. Seriously, we barely get a shot on the show. We're just keeping it a buck. have saying, well, there was a black person or two on there in comparison to how many people that were non-black. Are you serious on this show? And of
The
course,
last one was really funny when Brendan called Sione Samoan.
oh,
And it is what they had two Polynesian people, and there's not that many Polynesian people, but those guys are characters. I've met Sione and oh my gosh, I can't believe that. Oh my gosh, I can't believe this. I was just talking to him. Oh, I have these phases of perimenopause where my brain stops working. It's gonna bother me. Anyway, okay, one more. Are you friends with anybody from the show? Adrian. I'm just kidding.
Yeah, we'll cheat that. We'll say that. But no, I've tried. I mean, if you want to know, I've tried. Literally, try to reach out. I used to talk to who was my little boo thing? Let me think. God, what was the baby's name? Allie. Allie was like, I think the first one gone. I would keep in touch with Allie. I talked to Allie, and I'm friends with Montina. Montina, I haven't talked to Montina in a while, but Montina and I are friends. She got the same exact name as my sister. It's not that many people named Montina. They spell it the same way. It's crazy. Montina was with me. She was one of the 7 that didn't make it and was at Fitness Ridge with me. We were bunk mates there. She was the one that's Beyonce's backup singer. That was Beyonce's backup singer. Martina and I were real cool and close. And Allie, like I said, I talked to Allie a lot. I haven't talked to Allie in a while. So I haven't talked to anybody. I used to talk to Aaron a couple of times. We talked throughout, but not really. And again, I just really named everybody that was black. That's crazy. I mean, but it's the community. It's just what it is, You want somebody that's relatable, especially if you're the, minority and you don't have that many people that understand your point of view, that understand your community. All those things are important. And when you're trying to make it through. Oh, wait a minute. Before we get off of here, let me tell you about the show being dirty. I know I told you so much about.
Ooh, please do.
So much about, the contestants, because it was the worst experience of it all to me were the contestants. But the show is grimy as hell too. So I'm gonna tell you. So you know how when you were talking to Brennan and them about doing stuff that we want to do, they were talking about they got phones and burners and stuff like that. Well, when we were at the military base, at the Marine base, everybody was sneaking, getting on the phone booth and was calling. They was calling home, collect everything, whatever. I called my son. I got on it. I did, because we had this one challenge prior to that where we had to climb up all them stairs in the building and get to the top, and they were giving your family your letters your family sent you, and we won. And they said I didn't have no letters. This is how dirty the show is, and they play them psych games on you. They play it. I told you, it's 100% mental. And they literally kept my letters from me. When I called my son, I was like, I didn't even have time to say, oh, I miss you, I love you. I was like, I cannot believe that you have not written me. I'm over here like by myself. Everybody is trying to get me out of here. They all against me. I needed to at least hear from you. My mother wrote me a letter. My son wrote me a letter. My goddaughter people wrote me letters that could help me through the hump. And they didn't give me them letters until I was already voted off and was sent home. They kept the letters from me. And we won a challenge to get the letters. That's the kind of games that they play. And I don't give a shit if I'm telling it and people know it. I don't care. That's BS. Listen, I'm a writer. I am a screenwriter. I can write. I have written a version of a fitness show. Behind all that was a way for me dealing with the trauma that I had, and the PTSD from this show is knowing how to write a show that can be successful in people losing weight, and you don't have to mess with their brain like that. That's a dirty ass trick. You already struggling, you already going through it. Why would you do that? You can't produce your show better than that. That's why I say they got some son of a gun. They got some real good producers. They know how to really make it bad on a person.
it really necessary too to sequester people from their family for that long? Like, so I think our season was 4 or 5 months of filming that people didn't get to talk to their family at all. Is that really necessary, or is that torture?
Honestly, I'm gonna say it's necessary. I do. I don't think it's torture. I really don't. I understand that part of it, because it's like your own family is like a comfort zone, and you have to get away from everything and all of that. And see, that's the whole point. That's why I don't get, because you're getting away from all of that, and it's a community. The Biggest Loser, every single season that we had was supposed to be a community. One that we understand the plight in which we are going through. You know what I'm saying? Now, the respect level comes from who's working the hardest, who's putting it out there, who's working, who's doing what they're supposed to do is what should validate the point of you staying, and not being lackadaisical and taking advantage of the fact that you got a stipend every week. And, I am working hard, or whatever voice, male or female, I am working hard, but you're not doing it. We watching you not do it. We watching you put another piece of Ezekiel bread up in there. We watching you do extra, and you don't need to be doing it. Or you sitting around, like I said, watching movies or chilling or whatever, feet kicking in the pool and not really doing no workouts. Put me up against the people that's really going, let's do it. Let's get it in. My legs hurting and swole, but I'm still getting in. I'm still on that elliptical. I'm still on that treadmill. I'm going to break the barrier. I'm going to break the wall, but they just, like I said, I don't, so I understand or not, because, I don't need I don't need y'all, because it'll be to my head and I'll be like, but it is a comfort. I get it. Give me my letters. It's another way that we could have communicated, which it was letters. And they didn't, they withdrew that. They kept that from me. They withheld me from having that. And that was some dirty stuff. That's some low down psychological. That's torture. That was torture,
Yeah, it would have been nice to write, I guess, because if we would have called, you would have had a lot more people dropping out, a lot more people saying, I'm going to go home. But there was also, of course, the keeping the show private of what was going on with the show. But you would have had a lot more dropout. Yeah. Did they do anything else? I mean, for me, it was they sent us home the first day, which it sounds like they did that to a lot of people every single season. They brought apparently, 70 people, sent 50 of them home or whatever every single season. That would have sucked. But to get there, to earn my spot back, and then every single challenge that we had was stacked against the two of us that came back. Every one. And so there was no way we could have ever won.
They knew what they were doing. That was you talking about the feathers and stuff versus the brick and all that. Yeah. It's just garbage. Like, get out of here. And then how the producers would take your words and flip them. Like if you were saying, like when we lost the challenge and it was like, yeah, well, why do you think you lost that challenge? Well, I think, so-and-so could have role better. They could have did the role better, but they messed us up. Well, say it this way. So what are you trying to say? That person did it? I'm like, yeah, but say that then. The producers, they'll be sitting up there like, well, say it that way then. And then they'll tell you what to say. And you be like, that's not what I said though. That's not what I wanted to say. And they would take your words and twist them. I was like, oh my God, this is just.
I do feel like the show I watched was different than the show I experienced. In some ways, like I swear, guys, I only cried 3 times, but they made it into a TV show. But every day, like I would have loved to be on your season because every day it was about putting my best forward. I was going to beat this thing. Every day it was about putting it in and just pushing forward. And yeah, I would have loved to be on the season with you. Yeah, and I wish that they would have they interviewed Matt and Susie for the documentary. I wish that they would have put them in because they just really resonate with me. I think they would have brought like some heart to it. And do you like Matt and Susie? Do you know who they are?
Yeah, I know who they are.
I'm like huge fans. I love those two. Well, Anna, thank you so much for all your time. Thank you for coming on and for volunteering for this torturous This torturous podcast. People absolutely love to hear this side. I feel like you brought so much to the table that I haven't heard. So much honesty. You know, even coming here, a lot of people are still worried about, you know, ticking people off, saying something, but you just let it all out. And I really appreciate your honesty and your passion and I just really appreciate you coming on. So if anybody wants to follow you or get a hold of you or watch you as you beat this again, as you continue to go forward, where can they find you? Or do you not do the social thing?
Oh, I don't. Yeah, I'm on there. I have 2 IG pages, but one I'm trying to get rid of. I have Anna Wright, Biggest Loser. That's on IG. I'm getting ready to shoot my short film coming up called The Goat. So be looking for that. But I have my actors IG page, which is by BY Anna Wright. So just that simple. I'm on Facebook, Anna Wright. I'm on there. I'm there too. I'm around, I'll be around doing my thing, still just being me as much as possible.
Awesome. Yeah. If you ever want to come back, I think we can make some explosive episodes with you. So you let me know.
Absolutely. You can have me back anytime. Before we do end this, can I please just throw out there, because we kind of jotted around, I just want to say this real fast about Dr. H. When I did leave the show and I told you how I tore my meniscus, I couldn't get the help that I wanted from Georgia. And I was able to pick up the phone 2 to 3 years. I guess that was like a little 2.5 years since the season had ended. And I called Dr. H and I told him what was going on and I was hurting. And he was the one who called in a rec form for me to have an MRI done when the doctors in Georgia was like, oh, just go to physical therapy. He was the one that did it. And they sent it back to him. And he was the one that said, do not go back to that doctor. Go to some other doctor he had for me to go to that fixed my knee. He didn't have to do that. We were 2 years out of that show and he took the time to do that. And I took Dr. H, I love you. Thank you. You the man. He is.
You have to find a single contestant who's actually experienced Dr. H, because some of them didn't get as much of an experience, who don't have the same love for him. I mean, gratitude.
I do. Because like I said, he didn't have to. Anybody that takes the time to do something for you and they really don't have to, you should be grateful. And I'm grateful. And I will be forever grateful. I always throw his name out there because that was something. You didn't have to do it and you did it. So I'm thankful for that, and I'm very grateful.
Before I actually let you go, I always like to end on, what was your biggest takeaway from the show? Like for me, I'm sure you've heard it because you've watched the shows. It was that I'm lovable no matter what the size, and that has to come from me, number one. And number two, anything in the world is possible. And like you, I feel like God told me that this was going to happen and that I had to go for it. And it just showed anything is like, there's nothing off the table. I could have a baby at 70. There's nothing off the table when it comes to God. So did you have any big takeaways from the show at all?
Just that faith the size of a mustard seed can move mountains. And that's exactly what I patterned. That's what I went by. That was it. I just kept that in mind. Faith the size, just have faith. Faith the size of a mustard seed can move it. And I kept that in my head. And I was like, I'm moving it. I'm moving this mountain.
That is amazing. I want to end it there, except somebody asked, Sonia has a book, 44 Lessons from a Loser. And I want to say the person's name that I couldn't think of is Moses. I love Moses.
So. Moses.
He's wonderful. He is wonderful. There are some great alumni, and then there are some.
Yeah.
They made good TV alumni.
And I also talked to oh God, what was Sunshine's daddy name? I can't think of his name. But anyway, remember Sunshine and her father? They were like the yellow. And I can't think. And I just call him Unc. And I always send him a birthday something. I always keep in touch with him just to see if he's good. And that's it. So yeah, that's it. I'm throwing these out. Sorry.
Well, with that, you guys, thank you so much for tuning in. If you could please like, subscribe, and share, we'd so greatly appreciate it. But we really appreciate that you guys stuck around and hung out with us tonight. So I hope you guys all have a great night. Goodbye.
Thank you. Bye. Bye.